Honorable Chair, distinguished members of this body, guests, and all fellow Cebuanos, a pleasant afternoon to all. I rise today to address a matter of public interest that recently drew the attention of my office through a concerning social media post. Last March 11, 2025, sacks reportedly containing about 5 kilos of rice were distributed at Barangay Dulho, Fatima. The rice was transported through a truck owned by the Department of General Services. While initiatives aimed at providing assistance to our communities are commendable, the circumstances surrounding this particular rice distribution have raised significant concerns. Mr. Chair, the social media post that brought this matter to our attention shows a scene that compelled my office to inquire not only into the legality of this distribution, but also into the manner in which it was conducted. Records show that it was part of the 166,000 sacks of rice procured from A1 Milling Corporation amounting to 49,896,700 pesos sometime late last year. And the 49 million was charged to the account for the local disaster risk reduction and management relief and recovery. With that, it appears that the legal grounds for this expenditure, specifically the requirement of a declared state of calamity, is absent. Moreover, the manner of distribution, as shown in the video of the activity, was highly undignified and inconsistent with our standards for a respectful and efficient public service. It was similar to dumping sand and gravel, where the bed of the truck was lifted and sacks of rice fell to the ground. In a Facebook video, several people were seen surrounding the truck who were telling the driver where to dump the truck of rice. Such scenes reflect poorly on the intent behind the relief efforts, diminishing the dignity owed to our constituents. Make no mistake, the distribution of basic consumer goods like rice as aid to our communities is indeed a laudable endeavor. However, it is my firm belief that government activities like this follow established guidelines set out by the law. As such, I believe that it is my duty as a councilor to point out some concerns regarding the said rice distribution. First, there was no declaration of state of calamity in Barangay Dulho, Fatima, issued by the local Sanggunian based on Section 16, Paragraph 2 of RA 10121 or Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act of 2010. The said law states that the declaration and lifting of the state of calamity may also be issued by the local Sanggunian upon the recommendation of the Local Development Risk Reduction Management Council based on the results of the damage assessment and needs analysis. That a state of calamity should be declared in order to utilize the Local Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Fund is implied under the law. The most recent resolution issued by the Cebu City Disaster Risk and Reduction Management Office was on March 27, 2024. Said resolution declared a state of emergency in 28 mountain barangays of Cebu City due to the ill effects of El Nino. However, Dulho Fatima was not covered by said state of emergency. Second, the manner of distribution of these sacks of rice left much to be desired. As can be seen on the video, some men in plain clothes climb on top of the truck and threw the sacks of rice to the ground one by one. Other men appeared to carry the sacks of rice from the ground to a place not seen in the video. This leads to one to question if the said sacks reached the intended beneficiaries and whether the distribution of all intended recipients were fair and equitable. However, if the reports are true that just like in some similar activities, the needy are not given priority as beneficiaries, but allegedly a patronage system is being imposed then. This can be likened to the city's cash aid program to the barangays when the favored barangays are given priority, though the less favored barangays have complied already the necessary requisites. Modesty aside, Mr. Chair, my family and I have been sharing our blessings every Christmas to the barangay workers of Lahu for a decade now. But there was never a time that we have engaged into the manner of unloading the sacks of rice from the dump truck. It should have been done in a manner that would show a little respect of dignity of the recipients by giving value to the gifts of rice to be shared to them. Mr. Chair, I have been in the world of politics for 30 years now, and I haven't come across an administration as undignified and disrespectful as this. Rice is a staple food that forms a significant part of every person's diet, regardless of strata in society. As such, the program should have been treated as sharing, not giving. Not given as an incentive, but shared because it is needed. Not sowed or sprinkled on the field like seeds, or worse, dumped like sand and gravel on the road, but with genuine intention, and treat the people with compassion. With a very short stint of this administration, where are we going, Mr. Chair? Are we in the right direction? Mr. Chair, your answer is as good as mine. Moreover, it appears that the two groups of uniformed personnel were present to supervise said rice distribution. One was a man, presumably from the Cebu City government, and a few others wearing a shirt bearing Mayor Raymond Alvin Garcia's name. However, it appears from the video that there was no coordination between the Cebu City Local Development Risk Reduction Management Office and the Barangay Development Risk Reduction Management Council of Barangay Dulho Fatima in distributing the sacks of rice. Lest my intention be misconstrued, I am not against the distribution of essential goods like rice for aid. However, it is important to ensure that such initiatives are carried out fairly and transparently, avoiding any perception of politicking. Like if we offer a livelihood program, it should be done in consideration of the capacity of the beneficiary to come up with an essential activity that is sustainable in its truest sense. If we distribute tons of sacks of rice, it should be done in a way to show a little dignity to the recipients by respecting its manner of distribution. I do not want to be hypocrite, and I have nothing against government's initiative, but I am most concerned about sustainability, transparency, and above all, accountability. It is my hope that by pointing out how aid distribution could be improved, futures activities like this are safe and efficient for everyone, and follow guidelines set out by the law and other relevant government issuances. Mr. Chair, if we continue to be selective in our choice of beneficiary without regard of the very unfortunate members of our society, if we continue to navigate this government by dangling all kinds of offers to persuade people to choose, if we continue to offer non-sustainable program or dole out in order to entice people to favor us. If we continue to foster patronage system in order to keep on hold on the reins of power, then we have done the people a great disservice. The poor get poorer, the favored becomes most favored, and those who are not part of the loop will be alienated. Yet, Mr. Chair, every single individual has given his, her share by paying taxes. However, what each one received in return is a great disservice. Mr. Chair, is this where our taxes go? Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I move to note my privileged speech and to propose the following resolutions. First, resolve to request the Cebu City Local Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council to submit a formal report detailing the legal basis for the use of LDRRMF funds for the rice distribution in Barangay Dulho Fatima, as well as the list of the beneficiaries and other similar activities. Second, resolve further to urge the Cebu City LDRRMC and LDRRMO to strictly adhere to Republic Act number 10121, ensuring that disaster relief funds are only used in areas formally declared under a state of calamity and in compliance with legal requirements. Third, resolve furthermore to urge Cebu City LDRRMO and the Barangay Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Committee to review and improve their disaster response protocols to prevent inefficient and undignified aid distribution, ensuring a fair, safe, and transparent process for all beneficiaries. And finally, resolve that copies of this privileged speech with our resolutions be furnished to the Cebu City Mayor's Office, the Cebu City Local Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, and the Cebu City Department of General Services, the Commission on Audit, and other relevant agencies for appropriate action. So moved, Mr. Chair.
Motion. Member Archibald. Member De Los Santos, before we go to Member Archibald, you only mentioned Barangay Dulho Fatima, but you showed another video from Barangay Masakpardo. But your resolution is only for...
I showed two videos, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
One in Fatima, and I showed another video in Basak San Nicolas, just to
That's,
show
no,
to
that's
the
Masakpardo.
Masakpardo. I'm sorry,
That's right.
just to show to the members of this council how the distribution was made.
Yeah, but your solution is for the recipient from Barangay
Basak,
Dulho lang.
Basak San,
So, Barangay
Basak
Dulho lang.
Dulho Fatima.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, as amended.
As
Basak
amended.
Dulho Fatima and Basak Pat.
Thank you. Go ahead, Member Archibald.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to clarify that there is a distribution of rice. It's very clear. And actually, it's being dumped. Murag na garbage ba? So, murag ang atong ipakaon mga baka. Anyway, ang akong punto is, I would like to ask Councilor Mary Ann if there is a document that will say that we are giving rice because there's a calamity. Was there a reason for giving rice to this area?
Mr. Chair, I think Member Archibald was not here earlier and was not able to listen to my speech.
That's correct. Yeah.
It is very clear that there is no declaration of a state of calamity, particularly in Barangay Dulho Fatima.
So if that is the case, this is an illegal act. We are distributing rice without any basis. So that for me, that's the very clear indication that this is something illegal and this is being done because they want to campaign. And it's very clear that there's the name of the mayor, and then that's it. It's campaigning, giving the rice of the city hall. Now the other thing is I would like to ask Mr. Chairman, basig na maka-answer is that we would like to know if the chairman of the disaster committee here in our council knows about it.
Knows about the distribution, or was
Yes.
there any declaration?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First declaration.
There's none. There's none.
No declaration.
All declaration has to go through our committee, and it is being
As mentioned earlier by Member De Los Santos, the last time that we declared was that.
Was
the
during the
year.
time
Illegal.
there were 28 barangays declared in the mountain
Yes, that was the
a
only.
state of emergency. And Mr. Chair, if I may,
If I there's also, well, in the amendments of today's session, me and Councilor Espares will also be filing a declaration of emergency in the school of Buhisan. I think that's the only.
The only.
Mr. Chair, with a
Yes.
statement made by the chairman himself, Member Garganera, then with that, it appears that the legal ground for this expenditure, specifically the requirement of a declared state of calamity, is absent. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Member Pesquera.
Mr. Chair, I also received a similar report, Mr. Chair, in Barangay Kiot Pardo, where sacks of rice with the same color of covering have been distributed, Mr. Chair. But unfortunately, some of the beneficiaries complained that ako lang ni kay Bisaya man ang pagkasulat nga daghan kuno kaayong ulod o kanang molds. So makadaot ni sa image also of the Cebu City government nga ilang gigamit nga especially ang mga sakyanan baya nga gigamit, Mr. Chair, are from the DJS, so people would really believe that those are from the Cebu City government, and then the sacks of rice that were distributed were full of worms and molds, Mr. Chair. So this has also should be looked into by the City Health Department, Mr. Chair, because it might affect the health of our people as well. Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chair.
Yes, go ahead, Member De Los Santos.
In my final resolution, I would like to make an amendment to include furnish a copy to COMELEC, considering that there was already an admission coming from the chairman of disaster in the person of Member Garganera that there is no
Declaration.
declaration of a state of
To
calamity.
include COMELEC.
There is no declaration of state of calamity in Barangay Bulbo Fatima, and making it appear that the legal grounds for this expenditure, specifically the requirement of a declared state of calamity, is absent. So I include COMELEC to be furnished a copy of this privileged speech. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Member Gialon?
Mr. Chairman, corollary motion later.
Yes. Any further discussion? Objection? Hearing none, the motions presented by Member De Los Santos is carried. Thank you, Member De Los Santos. Corollary motion, Member